Now, goal scoring isn't what you expect from N'Golo Kante, but as the commentator said there, a licence to move forward. What's interesting about this one, he's got 2.5 years left to run on his existing deal, and they're offering him a bumper deal. First of all, can you see why and what they're getting? And secondly, it's in a completely different role than he was at Leicester.
Yeah, Gary Weaver's coming in there and the licence to get forward. I personally don't like the role he's playing. I know myself and Steve were talking about this earlier. I think we're in agreement.
Why don't you like it?
Because if you look at him as an individual, I'm only talking about him as an individual. I think the team is playing so well, so impressive, and the way Sarri wants Jorginho to start that phase of play in possession, he is better in possession than Kante. So I can understand it. But if you look at him as an individual, you take away from what he is unbelievably good at. Screening the back four when fullbacks go high and wide. He is the best in the business at it, at winning the ball back and keeping things relatively simple. I see him in that system and it's his back to play a lot of times with the two advanced midfielders. He's just not at his best in that position. But in terms of the contract, no-brainer, nail it down.
Yeah.
Oh, all day. All day, yeah. Give him whatever he wants. He's been a star.
Yeah, but from what you hear, he probably didn't even ask for one.
Yeah.
No, he probably wouldn't have a clue he's got 2.5 years left. He
just wants to play football.
Just wants to play football. And then, yeah, I agree. You know, he's defensive midfielder. Like, I mean, what he done in the World Cup, even with Pogba as well. You know, Pogba
makes him look better, doesn't he?
I'm not onto that one where he had a great World Cup. I'm not too convinced with that, but he looked a lot better than he has done for Manchester United because there's one reason only, because of him. I believe I could play centre midfield if I got him next to me. That's how good he is. Yeah. He's the work of 2 free men. All right, they played Jorginho there at the time, but because he's so dynamic in everything he does and the intensity he plays at, actually, he's Jorginho. I know Jorginho he's a defensive midfielder, but he starts everything off. But as a Chelsea player, you would want him in your team all day long. All day long. And yes, he is a defender. He is better at that. He does.
But has he got more to him, though, than just locking the door?
Yeah. Look, I think he's... Yeah, of course he has. Of course he has. I'm just in awe of him. And in awe of him as a person as well. Yeah. Just when you hear...
And that's us talking, obviously, we're retired, that's that, and that's everyone outside of football. And that's why there's 2 things I love about this, is that this will not cause any friction in that.
I was going to say, do you think he's worried about playing out of position?
No,
I couldn't see. I just couldn't see it happening.
I don't think he is.
I couldn't
see
it being
a problem.
problem.
This deal itself won't cause. Sometimes we've been in dressing rooms before. Someone's got a new deal when you're thinking, listen, everyone deserves a new deal more often than not. But sometimes when someone gets it, you're thinking.
But also
with him though, everyone in that dressing room would be like, fair play.
But also
because everyone loves him.
Sorry, come from Leicester. Came to Leicester. All right, Mahrez won PFA Player of the Year, even though the league they won the league that year, and actually. He wouldn't have been, I think it was either Mahrez or Vardy, he wouldn't have been too far away. Yeah. He would have been, I thought he was the best player at Leicester that year. Yeah. Then he goes to Chelsea, wins the league again, wins PFA Player of the Year. Yeah. Wins a World Cup last year. So we're talking about an incredible rise. If anyone in football would have the right to say, well, I should be playing, why am I getting moved out? I should be in this position. Would be him. But he just couldn't see it being him. He's just...
a dream.
Just keep and if I was Chelsea, get him signed.
He is a manager's dream, not only for what he does on the pitch, but for what he does off the pitch. And what I mean by that is he's just low maintenance. So for managers now, people at home will be sitting there thinking, well, what does that mean? And so as a manager or as a coach, you're always worrying when it comes to a weekend or a Saturday night or a Sunday night, what your players are going to be up to, especially obviously at an adult level as well. With him, you know that he's going to be in bed at 9:30. His boots are probably polished next to his bed. If it's snowing the next morning, he's going to run into work.
But also,
so he's a dream. He's an absolute dream for a manager.
But also, like, what's he going to do with that money? Like other players, you could. But what would he do with that type of money?
Well, he's entitled to do whatever he wants.
Exactly. No, I agree. But I couldn't imagine him just sitting in the bank, just not ever getting touched and just leaving it there.
Listen, he'll probably put it as good causes. He seems that much of a proper.
You've only got to look at the way they celebrated with him at the World Cup final as well, lifting him up, see what he means to that squad. So that's his country, obviously, club. The lads are right. It won't be an issue. No. At all. He's been that good. And I haven't got a clue what he's on after that move. How cheap was he, by the way, both times? Oh. 5.5 million first time to Leicester and even 30 million to Leicester, just over 30 million quid. How Man United didn't go and get him to partner Pogba in midfield, I have no idea.
He's also, listen, we all love the game and lucky to be involved in it in some capacity or another. But he really does, he lifts your heart, doesn't he? Because he is just totally positive, totally selfless, nothing to do with money whatsoever. That's a byproduct of him doing what he absolutely loves. And he's able to do it at superstar level.
And also, you look at the size of him. Look at where we're told people in that position have to be a certain size, have to be this sort of athletic ability, that type of... He's just the best example ever.
So do you think he got overseas then? When obviously he's moved to Leicester for 5 million, how comes none of the big ones got him then? Was it a case of...
I don't think they trust him. I think the big boys wait for it to be proven. You've only got to look at Liverpool with Van Dijk, go to that stepping stone at Southampton. I don't think that's that trust element taken from
to let it happen.
mediocre club.
Just pay the big money when it comes.
That big gap is...
Which is wrong.
They can still pay the money.
Yeah.
They see that as, OK, if he goes and does well in the Premier League and he earns his stripes then at a lesser club, we can still go and buy you anyway.
Yeah.
So that's probably where... Look, I don't believe anyone...
But just going back then, let me play devil's advocate. Given that he's going to be one of the top earners at Chelsea, is he wasted in that position there? He's not kicking up. He's happy to do it, but is he wasted there?
In that advanced position?
Yeah.
I don't think he's wasted.
Well, could you find other players who play in the advanced position who could play that role better than him?
If, for instance, they have a team penned in, so for 3/4 of the Premier League, they dominate the games. It's just against the big teams where he's probably needed in that deeper area. If they have teams penned in, then Fabregas is better. Loftus-Cheek, they're better players in those advanced areas, whether it's a passing ability of a Fabregas or a running ability of a Barkley or a Loftus-Cheek. So they have got better players in that area of the pitch, which is what I'm saying. You're taking away his natural attributes, which are getting around the pitch and keeping things relatively simple to supply those type of midfielders, which he is more than capable of doing.
Well, I absolutely love him. He can play in goal as far as I'm concerned.